We always go over time. We always lose money because I can't let it go out unless it's exactly how we want it, and we never allow enough time.
I'm Robin Johnson, this is Yours for the Making, and I'm joined by Russell Birt from Birt Williams Joinery.
I do think that when you're doing it all day, every day, it's quite easy to forget that. It's quite easy to get sort of bogged down in what you've got to do rather than enjoying the process. I love the fact that I'm sitting here now on a Friday because I don't have to ask anyone. And to me, that is worth all the work. It's worth everything. It's about the flexibility.
This show tells the story of the makers, the people that create things, whether it's in wood or metal, whether they're artists or musicians or chefs. It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell their story.
6 years in, we've just started getting to that point where we're like, don't want that.
It's not us.
We're not going to do a very good job on this. It's just not the way we work, or they want it really quick. And we think, I don't know, I'm not a good businessman. I don't want to do things really quick because I won't sleep at night worrying that we've missed something or it's not how we wanted it.
I'm Robin Johnson, this is Yours for the Making, and I'm joined by Russell Birt from Birt Williams Joinery in Hankham, outside Eastbourne, right?
Yeah, just outside Eastbourne.
And you're saying a nice little spot with really a good group of other people in the similar sort of trades.
It's a nice community. We've got, like I say, two cabinet makers one side of us, a furniture maker the other, wood turner and furniture restorer. They're all, I say all, three of them are in their 60s and one of them's 40. So it's quite a good mix. Yeah, it's nice, yeah.
You can just lean on them when you need a bit of help or advice. And
yeah, not a lot of work gets done because we're all in average jobs shops talking.
Oh,
but
really?
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
How did you get into joinery? What was your path into it?
Right, where do we start? Sitting in my garage, I had a 1974 bay window that I was restoring.
Oh, lovely.
Yep.
Have you always been into Volkswagens then?
Yeah, for a long time. That was I'd done a couple of Mark 1 Golfs, Beetle, a Fastback, and then the bay. Nice. Anyway, 3 years into the restoration, we were finally at interior stage, and my brother-in-law was a carpenter. I was a postman at the time. And he was giving me a hand building it, and I said, I'd love to do this. And I'd done carpentry years before, lost the job because the company went into liquidation, and I didn't bother furthering it after that. And sitting in the garage, I said, I'd love to do this. And he said, you should be a joiner. And I thought about it for a couple of months, and it was winter, and I really wasn't enjoying being a postman. So I just looked online, found all the joinery shops in the area, and thought, I'm going to go on a mission for the day. And the first one I went to, which was the closest to home, old boy Roger, he was in his 70s, and said, you're in luck. I want to take someone on. I want them to take over. And I've already tried 3 times and failed because they didn't last. Can you give me a day? And I said, I'll give you a week for free and see what you think. Week later, I had the job. And then within months, he said, do you want to go to college? I was mature at this stage, so I say mature, a mature student. Went to college, was very fortunate. They let me bypass the first year.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Because when I started with Roger, his approach was, this is how you do it, go. So from literally the first week, I was on machines, learning literally as I was going on my own. He'd just give me a job sheet and showed me how to work a planer, left me for the day on the planer. Once I was good with that, then he'd left me on the next machine and just wanted me going as quickly as possible. So I learned a lot, and I probably worked for him for about, must have been like 6 months, I think, before I went to college. And then I was getting towards the end of the second year, and he said, he didn't tell me why, but he said, I'm closing the business in the next couple of months, so you either buy it or you need to find a new job. So I went home to the wife and said, we need to find some money. So that happened, brought the business, very stressful.
On your own, you bought it outright?
Just completely on my own.
Wow.
And
how old were you at that point then?
31, 32.
So mature enough to know what you're doing anyway.
Ish. I've always been the same. I say yes before I think. That's why you got a response really quick. Because I thought if I think about it too much, I'll talk myself out of it. So if I just say yes, I'll get on and do it. So yeah, that happened. I finished college pretending to be employed. Because obviously you've got to be employed to finish an apprenticeship.
Because it's your joinery now.
Yeah.
At that point, wow.
So then I was trying to get out of college, trying to get done as quickly as I possibly could, because this was now my time.
Yeah.
And I didn't really want to be there for one day a week when I've got jobs on the go. So that, anyway, finished, cracked on with jobs. Fast forward another 6 months, I put my thumb in one of the planers, which really didn't help business because it was just me on my own. So instantly I've had to tell the customers.
You still got it?
Yeah, luckily it's only about 10 mil shorter. I won't be too graphic, but I went over the bed and it went, because I was wearing a glove, so never wear gloves. That was horrible. It happened and it didn't hurt. And I was like,
well, it's so quick.
Yeah, I just felt like I punched the bed of the machine. And I thought, please say I haven't done it. Yes, I have. I was on my own, ran outside. Everyone else and all the other units had already gone home.
That's always when these things happen, though, isn't it?
And it was really not. I was supposed to go to a Volkswagen show that afternoon in the bus, and I spent the weekend in hospital. I couldn't work. Yeah. So I had to cancel a couple of jobs that I had, and then nothing really came in, really annoyingly. And then it was really bizarre. My wife fell pregnant. We were at the doctor's, and I saw someone come around the corner on a skateboard, and I bumped into my now business partner. But we had been friends when we were in our early teens, because we used to skateboard and BMX together. And we hadn't seen each other for, 15 years. And he said, you're a joiner, aren't you now? And I said, yeah. What do you do? And he said, I'm a joiner as well. And I was like, no way, really? And he said, yeah. I said, where do you work? And he said, I'm the foreman at Sturdy Joinery in Eastbourne.
Oh, really?
And I was like, and my head was like, right, I can get a job. He said, do you need any work at the moment? And I was like, why? And he said, we're so busy. And I was like, I'm still bandaged up. And he said, pop down. So I did that evening, spoke to his boss, and he was really kind and gave me a job straight away. So I thought this was a good opportunity to now work in a bigger workshop and start learning, because, our workshop's tiny. Roger, who I work for, we only done small stuff really. It's like the odd window, small staircase, nothing particularly big. But going into Sturdy, they had more of a production line. They were doing big stuff to what I was used to, and big machinery. So I was instantly on the bench there.
Did you keep your other joinery open during this time?
So I forgot that. So my plan was, there was no way I was letting go of my business. So I kept it. And the guy that I was working for, he knew that and was happy with that. I was doing small jobs, or jobs where the customers were happy to wait. And I was doing it in the evenings to keep the money coming in, to pay for the rent, to keep the workshop going. Done that for 18 months. But working Sturdy was amazing, because it turned out Dean was the actual foreman, and he was the machinist, and he's an amazing machinist. So I was on the bench. He had someone breaking out material for him. They left. I said to Dean, can I come down with you? Because I'd love to work on all the bigger machinery and learn that side of things. So then we started working together, and we worked really well together, quite intuitively. And then, so 18 months later, I said, my wife was then having to return to work after having our son. I said, I need flexible hours. I need to be able to drop and go and look after him, do this nursery run and things like that. I need to go back to being self-employed. And it must have been a month before I was leaving. He said, can I come with you? And I said, what? Like, you've got a really good job here. Do you really want to come and do this? And he was like, yeah, I've always wanted to do it. You've got a workshop. I really want to come and do it with you. I'll invest money, etc. So I said, let's buy some machines. So with his investment, we just spent the whole lot on machinery. And I've skipped a big bit going backwards. Whilst I was working at Sturdy, my brother-in-law was working for a company in Lewis, and they done a lot of nice work. And he told his boss that I was planning to go back on my own. And he rung me up and said, seen your work, really like it. I've got 6 months worth of work for you now. Do you want it? And that was when I said, I can't just drop and leave. And I'm planning to leave in the next month or so. And he waited and was true to his word. As soon as we got into the workshop, we were just running. We had so much work ahead of us. And it was really good. Massive learning curve. All of it's been a massive learning curve. Still feel like it is a massive learning curve. We've been in business now for 6 years. And I'd say the last year has probably been the quietest we've been. But a lot of people are, aren't they, at the moment?
Saying that. I mean, I know this year alone, I can probably name probably 4 joineries that have closed in the southeast. You know, people that a couple of mine knew, like personally, a couple that I heard about through, you know, the tool reps or paint reps or whatever. But it's tough out there at the moment, I think. Yeah,
we were probably beginning this year starting to think, all right, it's getting quieter and quieter. Like, what are we going to do? And a joinery shop closed near us, and very kind of him, he started sending some of his contacts our way, and then we started picking up again. And then some of our existing customers that have gone quiet have now started picking up again. Just as we bought a CNC, that we thought, right, we need to start doing something and changing direction slightly. Now joinery's coming back in again.
Do you know what though? I was the same when I bought our first CNC. I bought it because we had a job where we're going to have to cut loads and loads of circles and curves and stuff like that. And it is a real complicated, tricky job. We were using a guy in Eastbourne to do our CNC in anyway. Right. Lovely guy. But it was driving to Eastbourne, picking it up, dropping it off, whatever else. And then the cost of it too. So I looked at it. This job was huge. And it essentially, I got a second-hand CNC, paid a good price for it, and it paid for itself on the first job. So I had a quote from the guy we were using, and it was like, I don't know, 40, 50 grand or whatever. I bought the CNC for 27 plus material, and it was like, wow, now we've got it. Yeah. And I went through the whole same thing because it was quiet then. It's like COVID 2020, whatever. I was like, man, we got this machine now, and we can't actually go out to work. We had 1 or 2 jobs on that we could go and work, because in the middle of a field, in the middle of nowhere, building a treehouse or something. So we could justify it. And then we had a bit of key work at hospitals and bits and bobs on, but not loads on. And I was thinking, right, we got the CNC. Let's come up with a whole business plan to just utilise that, and got nowhere with it. Because we've just ended up using it for templates and cutting panels here and there. But generally we'd use the sword cut panels. It'd be quicker than drawing it all out. But then if it was something with a rebate on it or something like that, or a complicated shape, for a long time we were just using that machine just to cut templates to then go over the spindle with. And essentially we're still doing that. But what that allowed, I mean, just having that alone sped stuff up so much, because you're not getting out, you know, your compass and stuff like that. You can just draw it, know that it's going to be pretty close to perfect, and then it just worked really, really well. So instead of like completely pivoting to have this thing running all of our business, which I know a couple of other people have done and done really well. You know, I got a friend who bought the same sort of machine. He was making all Campervan parts and stuff. He's making like a fold-out toilet pot and all this other sort of stuff. And his whole business was making bits out of plywood on this machine. And I was thinking, oh yeah, maybe we should do that. But actually, you know what, it just complemented what we were doing. And then the joinery picked up as soon as we come out of COVID and stuff. We're flying, you know, and we can use it to do all the templates, and anything that was a little bit complicated, maybe that would take a tiny bit longer on the saw, we'd just do it on that. Yeah. And that's gone really well. So well that, but as more complicated and more difficult curved everything come in, then we now sort of gone for a 5-axis.
Yeah.
But we're not using it like, I've had other people on in the past that hate CNCs. I think when you're joining, you go one or two ways, that you're super traditional or you are all in on tech, and we're sort of in the middle.
I like middle.
Yeah, and I do as well. I think it's a good place to be in, but like some people are very traditional, and you can't call yourself a traditional bespoke joinery if you've got CNC, which I don't know. I kind of argue with that, but
back in the day when you were working with the tools, you did what you had to do with the current times, and the current times.
Yeah. But for us, when we're teaching the apprentices, it's important that they get a knowledge of hand tools, sanding by hand with sandpaper and a sanding block,
Definitely.
using a block plane, using all the hand tools before you go onto the machines, and then using the traditional machines before. But then we're using the machines in a different way than a lot of joineries would use a CNC. We're using it for the furniture. We're using it to cut out super complicated components. All the other stuff, rails and stiles, stringers, treads, everything else, we're still doing it by hand traditionally, but it's when we're doing things like that table leg that I was showing you.
Yeah.
You'd be years doing that by hand, literally with a spoke shave, and it wouldn't be right. Whereas this, we can spend a day drawing it, a day or two cutting all the components, put it together. It's just a bit of a stand up afterwards. It's still creative because you're still having to, and it's still got the skills because you're still having to glue the blocks together and miter all the blocks so they fit and comb joint them and stuff. Well, yeah, without the traditional skills, we wouldn't be able to feed that.
You're not going to get to that point,
exactly. But I think a lot of people, I mean, there are businesses, don't get me wrong, that buy machines like that, invest heavily in a machine operator, and then just feed it bits of timber, and it cuts all the components for doors, for windows, for the kitchens, for whatever. And then the people on the bench are just assemblers. But I've kind of always thought that for us anyway, we get everyone in there in the workshop to take a job from start to finish. It might be as a team, there might be two or three people on the same job, but they'll take it from start to finish. Now with the instruction machine, the machine might give them a few of the parts for that.
Yeah.
But they're doing everything. And I think that's really important. I mean, you're saying about your partner was the machinist. We don't even do that. Like I keep talking with the idea of whether getting a machinist in would be a good thing because then they can machine for everybody. But what I like about how we've got it set up is that everyone does their own machining. Yeah. Because then there can't be any of that, oh, well, it wasn't machined properly. There's no excuse, there's no to hide. Yeah. You either do it properly, start to finish, or you don't do it at all.
And you invest more into the job. You love it more because you've done every stage. Yeah. Which is exactly when I started that. I walked in the door and he said, you're doing everything start to finish on every job that you do. And I was like, fine. When I got to the big joinery shop, it was a bit of a shock because I'd never been in a big joinery shop, and I was told that you're on the bench, and I was like, I actually really enjoy just planing up material. I love taking a sawing board and seeing what grain comes out of it. That's one of my favourite bits, to be honest. And I'd done months of not doing that, and that's when the opportunity came up. I was like, right, now I'm going to jump down there and do a bit of learning. But that's what we kind of work. We do projects together now, but I think that's because we've got quite a small workshop and it's hard to run too many jobs at once.
But that's still good though, because you're still probably taking turns, or you're still working on the same sort of thing. When we'll pair people up down there on a task, or even 2 or 3 people on a task. One of them might be machining, one of them might be then going cutting the panels or something like that. Yeah. And they divvy it up between themselves, but you still have the whole ownership of the job, even if you've been part of 2 people or 3 people that have worked together on it. Yeah. And that is important for, to keep morale and enthusiasm and stuff like that.
And I always think everyone should be involved at some point in the finish. You have to be a part of the finish to appreciate each stage, because it's the finish that the customer sees, isn't it? Yeah. Going back to the CNC, my business partner built a small CNC.
One of those X-carve. Is it called X-carve or something like that?
It's like that.
You put a little palm router in it, one of those ones.
It hasn't got a palm router. It's almost like a little bit up from that.
Oh, okay. It's got a spindle in it.
Got a spindle in it. He brought the kit and then built it. I don't know where he got it from now. But it only... the bed is 1 metre by 1,500. Right. But we've been using that for, similar to what you were saying, for jigs, for curved stuff, for years. And just the odd sign, but we've never advertised that we use it for anything other than just for us. that's the first shop for the CNC at the moment. The new one is, we're doing some big gates at the moment and they're curved. So we're like, yeah, we can do a big curved template now. But we've also got some other jobs lined up for that. Campervan, interiors.
Oh yeah, perfect, because of all the curves and contours and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And once you've done one, you can save the file and then just... These are things that I've thought about when we got our CNC, and it's like, yeah, I can do that and work out those prototypes. Never got around to it in the end.
No, because if you don't need to, you're busy. Yeah. I've built a few campers over the years, and most of my friends are within the Volkswagen world. And a good friend of mine runs Coombe Valley Campers.
Oh yeah,
You heard Lee? Lee? Oh, you know Lee? Oh, so at the moment, Lee has... I've been over back and forth with him. We've talked about an interior. It's currently in Italy because he's testing it. I don't know if I should be saying this, but when it comes back, we're going to be drawing the interior up with him, going through everything, working out what worked, what didn't work, what we can change. And then hopefully we're going to be producing some interiors for him. And the plan is the CNC will hopefully be working in the background, making the money so we can still do traditional joinery and spend the time on it, because I'm sure you're the same. We always go over time. We always lose money because I can't let it go out unless it's exactly how we want it. And we never allow enough time, because you get to that point where you've priced it and you think, I really want to make this now, but if I price it to what it's worth, we're not going to get to make it. And it's hard, isn't it? It really is.
It's the same story with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, we're lucky, you know, we're super fortunate. We're not necessarily in a position where we have to win jobs on price, because we are positioned us to be in a place that people will just come to us for a job. You know, it might be that we're against like one other joinery, maybe, but then quite often we know that their price will be astronomical. So we try and work out fairly how much it will cost, you know, fair estimation of time.
Yeah.
Good we'll know to the millimetre how much material we're going to use, but it is that time thing. And then that also depends who we're putting on it. You know, we could allow 6 days for an item, and then I was having this conversation yesterday with my foreman, and it's like, you put the right person on it, you'd have that done in 3 or 4 days. Put someone who maybe that isn't their strength, that might be 12 days. But where we're kind of pricing it is somewhere in the middle. And then we got to be careful, because when we're pricing up, sometimes we allocate people to the job while we're pricing it, so that when the job comes in, we know, person A being CEO on that one, and person like EFG, or, you know, person D, whatever, they're going to be on that one. But what we found, we had to stop doing that, because what we found is that, you know, we've got a team of about 15, I think, at the moment. And what we found is that we're always putting the same three people on the job, because you know that you give it to those 3 people and it'll be done quick. And then, so we stop putting names by it, and then it just is who it goes to, whoever it goes to. And then we're kind of thinking, actually, if they take a bit longer, maybe they're being paid a little bit less, maybe it all works out. But you definitely find like the optimum of like who you want to give it to for the job that it is. We got guys down there that are brilliant at putting cabinets together, cabinet making, all that sort of stuff. Fantastic. And then we got guys that are on the traditional joinery side, brilliant. Machining, brilliant. You know, proper joints, really, really good. It's that when you get that crossover, when we've just got a massive cabinet making job on or something and everyone's on it, some people will be 2 or 3 times faster than others. Yeah. But then when it's the other way around, it's the same. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts. But it is hard. I think what's really hard is like sliding sash window. You know, it's going to be 2.5 days or whatever. So you know that whoever you're pricing against, they've either got a window line set up where they're knocking it out with all the fancy lights, tooling and that, and they're knocking it out in a day maybe or whatever. But then they've got huge overhead, or you're pricing against everybody else who's going to price it at 2.5 days, because that's what a sliding sash takes, right? And then you've got to start guessing what your day rate is versus their day rate, and oh man,
it's a headache, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And before you know it, you've wasted so much time thinking about it. If you didn't think about it, you would have made more money on it.
Yeah, but then it's where I know you work for 2 or 3 people that you do a lot of repetitive work for. And it's when you get those sort of relationships, you can ring them up and go, look, how much do you want to pay for this? How much have you got quoted for it? Look, I'll do it for that. Because sometimes it will take you a day to work out the price on
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
You know,
Easily.
you could save that day by just having that conversation and going, yeah, that sounds about right, whatever, you know. That's how we've been working a bit sometimes.
I'm always very cautious of doing that. Just, I don't know why. I think maybe it's a confidence
You've
thing,
got to trust them as well.
Yeah.
You don't want to go, oh, yeah, 100 quid, mate.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were actually looking at sliding sash windows yesterday. Big one in Lewis, which is nice. But we've been working for MB Cables company in Lewis since day one. And
is this the company that your brother-in-law worked at? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. And I mean, they've given us so many good opportunities. I mean, random things like, I remember the boss rang up one time and said, do you want an opportunity? I was like, go for it. And he said, tomorrow you need to be at such and such address. It's a full office fit out. It's a very, very good client of mine. You need to be there basically. And it's going to be you're going to learn. And I was like, okay. And he's like, you up for it? And we're like, yeah, let's do it. And then we turn up at this house and think, okay, hello, what do you want? And I mean, it all worked out really well, but we just said yes.
Yeah, but you got to
go for
you
it.
have to.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that film Yes Man. You know that.
Yeah.
You have to say yes to things until you find the sort of stuff that you need to say no to.
Yeah. Which I think, 6 years in, and we've just started getting to that point where we're like, don't want that.
It's not us.
We're not going to do a very good job on this. It's just not the way we work, or they want it really quick. And we think, I don't know. I'm not a good businessman. I don't want to do things really quick because I won't sleep at night worrying that we've missed something or it's not how we wanted it. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I don't know.
It's the same thing that every person that I've spoken to who really cares about their work, it's the same thing that they say. You know, they don't care if they don't make money on it as long as it goes out right, and it'll keep them up at night knowing that it isn't going to be right, or there might be a problem with it. Everybody I speak to, as I say, I'm the same as well. Yeah. But it's just a common recurring theme, because essentially what you're giving out is a part of you. It's a reflection on you. Yeah. So it's a really hard thing to give something to someone that you know isn't 100% right, because you know you're going to be judged on that. If you've done your absolute best and you're very happy with it, it's the easiest thing in the world to go, there you go, this is great. Go for it. Yeah. But if you know that there's potentially going to be a problem, it's like, oh my God, it's such a worry. Yeah. You know, and I think everyone works in similar sort of trades is probably the same. I don't necessarily think some trades, you know, you probably won't get, well, you might, I don't know, actually, I might be ignorant of me, but I don't think you get like, you know, a plasterer going, oh, I'm really worried about that wall. I'm worried I'm not going to be able to spread it that flat. Yeah. I think you just turn up and get it done, right? Electrician may be the same, or maybe if they got a big job on that's really complicated, maybe.
Maybe it's the length. Like with this industry, from my point of view, nothing's ever quick, is it? Like from the first point of contact to getting paid, it's months. So you've got a long time to think about it, haven't you? You've got a long time to worry about it. Yeah. Have I done it right? Have I designed it right? Is this what the client actually wants? Have I read them correctly? Yeah, still don't know what the answer is. Just keep going forward, I think.
What is it like running a business where there's it's just two of you, right? Yeah. What is that like where there's just two of you, you got equal share in it? Do you ever have moments where you've got differences of opinion or like big fallouts? One person thinks, I want to do this, the other person thinks, I want to do that.
I think we've been really lucky that although we definitely have different opinions, we've kind of molded to like find our strengths. And we don't even talk about it that often, but it's just sort of worked its way into this thing where even like if we're working on a machine, if it's like if we're repairing like a big bit of timber, our plane is quite small, dead small, so it's a two-man job really. But I mean, we joke sometimes. I can read his eyebrows from his mask. I know what he's thinking. It's just got to that point where we just know what the other person's thinking and how it works. With regards to design, I before this, I studied graphic design at university. And I think because of that, Dean just lets me get carried away and then has to deal with what I've come up with. But then he's really good at fault finding. So he'll say, how do you want to do that? And I haven't got that far yet. It won't work. I'm like, okay, how are we going to get around this? And then he will work our way around it together. But it's just, we just kind of work quite well. We have had days where we just completely disagree. I'll walk down to the end. We've got like a pond at the end of the workshop, really nice little pond and woodland. We'll separate and then come back and go, right, let's start again. Let's deal with it. Because there's no other choice, is there? There's only two of us. There's no one else to pick up the slack. So we have to just work through it.
Fair enough.
And it does work. And
do you find that you'll do all the designing? Maybe is it that one of you finds the admin side a little bit easier than another? Is one of you always doing the invoicing, one's in the quoting, one's in the drawing? Have you got like your defined roles, or do you both just share it up?
It's more defined, mainly because Dean's got, I could be wrong, it's about 20 years worth of joinery experience, so way more than I've got. But Dean's, because he had never worked on his own, and I, not that it was a long time on my own, but had the time on my own, and I already had contacts, it just naturally progressed that as soon as we were in the workshop and we had loads of work to do, he just jumped straight into his natural role and I dealt with the paperwork. So I deal with the clients, I deal with the pricing. When it comes to design, if it needs two of us, it will have two of us. If it's relatively simple, a wardrobe job the other day, I'll just quickly nip in the office. I say quickly, but I'll nip in the office and design it while he's marking out. But we'll try and time it. So if we've got a joinery job on like at the moment, load of timber turns up, we've got two workshops. We're in one of the workshops, pairing all the timber up. As soon as it goes to the other workshop, hits the bench, it's time for marking out, he'll just start doing that, and then I'll jump in the office, sort out emails, pricing. Once it's marked out, we'll either both jump on the machine each, or so we just, and again, we don't even talk about it, it's just how it runs. I deal with most of the contact.
Fair enough.
Which I don't always enjoy.
No. And then so you've got that kind of one pot of money that you're left with after a job. If you need to buy, you're just saying about your new CNC, are you both on board? You're both excited?
Yeah.
You're both committed to doing it? It's not like you've got to convince him or he's got to convince you to buy it, because you're both like, yeah, look, we can do that.
Yeah, we're both pretty much on the same page with it. In my head, we need to prove we need something. I said, let's make an interior using the small CNC and see, let's find out if it can, if it can't. Let's see where we're going to sort of fall on our face. We did it. This in the back of my van. Very quickly realised, which we already knew, but obviously a bigger CNC is going to speed this right up. But through doing that, ended up chatting with Lee. He said that he wants to do X, Y, and Z, but doesn't have anyone that he can depend on that will help sort of with the designs, because obviously he's really busy. And he said he's got lots of ideas, but further down the line, and we sort of went over and said, well, we're going to do it now. We're going to get it. We've already ordered the CNC, which has worked really well, because then he has now all of his ideas are spewing out, and then we're now going to pick that up and hopefully help him, and he's going to help us. He's very good with social media.
He's YouTube famous, isn't he?
Yeah, so good on there, so natural on there. I can't even run the Instagram page half the time. I just don't remember. So hopefully it will work really well. And then obviously we want to continue with the joinery. But yeah.
What do you find the hardest thing about doing what you do?
Probably, I would say timekeeping. Not timekeeping with regards to if we say it will be on site at a certain date, because it will be on site then, but with regards to pricing the jobs, I allow X amount of time and we don't stick to it. Because it's just so hard to, because, you know, it's like you think, right, today I'm going to get this amount of work done, and then the phone rings, and then an hour later you're off the phone. You think, right, now where was I? Oh, I've had 10 emails come through since then. Now I need to address that. And you get to the end of the day and you think, I haven't done what I said I would.
Yes, that is what I find. If I go up into the office, if I go up into my office when I get in at 7:30, I might not come down until lunchtime, and then I'll probably have to go back up because there's some things that I haven't finished. And I'll end up, I'm up there till 6:30 sometimes, and I haven't left the office apart from to eat lunch.
Yeah.
And man, you just get caught up in it, don't you? But I often think, like, what would be the worst thing that would happen if I didn't answer phone calls or emails for a day? Now, what's the worst that can happen? Are you going to miss a job? No, not really, because if people want you to do that job, what's a day for you to get back? Or you just email them in the evening or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, but I get so caught up in, like, oh my God, I better respond straight away, or they've emailed me, they deserve a response like within 24 hours. And because I mean, we get loads of junk emails as well, but I remember our email system went down one morning unexpectedly. The whole thing, everyone's emails went down.
Right.
And it was like, oh God. And I started getting sort of panicky, like, oh my God, what's going to, you know, this is the end of the world here. You know, what am I going to do? Went down, did a load of work on the workshop floor, really enjoyed it. It's been a long time since I did that. You know, got on with stuff. Emails popped back up in the afternoon. I think there was a lot of it was junk stuff or, you know, ads and whatever, people trying to sell you things. But I think I had about 300 emails come through between, like, when it went down in the morning at 10, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, hundreds of them. And just to weed out the, you know, the stuff trying to sell you something, it probably took me half an hour just to go through what I actually needed to read and what I didn't need to read. Then probably another half an hour reading the ones that were important, and then probably another 2 hours just replying to them. And it was like, I didn't have this realisation because I drove home thinking, it was a really good day because I was in a workshop, really enjoying working on the tools and stuff. But then I was just thinking, like, that's having that time now, for me, is so rare to be able to go down and actually be on the tools. And then sometimes I feel guilty if I've been on tools because I've not got back to people and stuff. So
Exactly the same as that.
Yes, it's a real balance sometimes.
It is. And like when you actually get, I mean, I am on the bench a lot more often, but I like going to the workshop on a Saturday, if it happens, where I can shut the door and I'm not going to answer emails at the weekend, and I make something for at home. And it's like renews the love. Yeah. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I'm the same. And also, I'm a bit embarrassed now because I haven't been on the bench for a while. When I am, it's just bits and bobs and stuff.
Yeah.
But we don't work Fridays. I love coming in on the odd Friday or over the weekend when there's nobody in. Yeah. I won't answer the phone, won't answer the emails, put the music on.
Yes.
Make something for me or for my house or for the family or whatever, or even just carry on with a project that we're working on.
Yeah.
But I can do it without, because I'm a bit worried that I might make a fool of myself in front of all the guys now. Because I might be a bit rusty. But when I'm in there, I'm in the zone, you know. It's like there's no better feeling. You know?
I have the same with Dean because he's got so much more experience than me. When I am on the bench, I mean, he can work, like if we're putting sashes together, we laugh about it all the time because he'll work literally twice as fast as I do. And then, like I say, it's a little bit embarrassing, isn't it? And then when I'm in on my own, like music's on, just heads down, focus, tools are out, really, even sharpening the chisels at the weekend is fun. Just not working.
Yeah. But you can work on work without working.
Yeah. When I say not working, I mean not mentally working, like in the office.
That is quite an important thing to do, though, just be able to switch off from it and just rekindle the love for it, you know.
Definitely. Last year, I think I said a friend of mine who's in the workshop down from us is a wood turner, and I mean, it's again embarrassing. I've got quite a few bits of timber stacked up in his workshop waiting for me to come down and play on the lathe, because for years I've said I want to learn to turn, and he's always said, come down, I'll teach you, like do a Friday morning or something. It never happens. But last summer we decided to stop working Fridays.
It's great, isn't it?
It's amazing. And I don't think we're less productive.
No, we're not either. If anything, we're more productive, because you come in revitalised and stuff.
And excited knowing that at the end of the week you've got a treat.
Yeah.
I started doing it because there's a chap that we follow on Instagram called Nick James, who makes really nice furniture. And he started posting on his stories, Fuck About Friday. And I thought, that's perfect. That's such a good idea. Either don't come in or go in and just play and just do whatever you want and rekindle some of that love. So that's what we started doing. And then, I had to go turning a bowl for a friend, and absolutely loved it, because it was something that I don't normally do. Not for a customer or anything. I've done it for a friend. But so much fun.
I've got a story about turning a bowl.
Go on.
Before I got into joinery and started this up, I was a school teacher. And I was a DT teacher. What was really good about it was it's almost like you're a mini project manager. You sort of teach a few skills and how to use a few of the tools and the machines, but you were managing, GCSE kids and A-level kids projects. You're kind of watching them develop their design and then making it and fault finding and all of that sort of stuff. But it was like being surrounded by loads of different young creatives, and it was really good fun. And they'd often inspire me to do stuff, or they'd come up with designs which I'd think I'm going to test that first before I let you go and make that on a machine. Yeah, because I'm not sure about it. And one of the things was a kid wanted to turn a bowl, and I was like, yeah, that's a really good idea. I'd love to show you how to do that. And he's like, I want to turn it out of birch ply. So, oh yeah, in theory that would be all right, but let me make one up and practice. So I made a massive blank of birch ply, it's probably, I don't know, like a 6-inch cube or something. Right. Laminated it all up, put it all on the end of the lathe, because on a lathe, obviously you've got the stock, the middle headstock, and the pin. You turn it kind of on the guard. Yeah. If you want to turn a bowl, you sort of turn the outside, then you put it on the end stock, and then turn the middle of it. So I turned this nice kind of external bowl shape on the birch ply, which was a little bit sketchy. Never turned birch ply before, and I don't even know if it's really that suitable for it.
Grab, doesn't it?
Well, you know where this story's going then. So I'd kind of shaped the outside. It was a bit rough, but I thought it would be all right, and I sanded it all up and stuff, and it looked really good. So I've come to the middle, put it in the stock, started turning it. I think the very first chisel that I put in, the first gouge that I made, this thing exploded, and I was wearing goggles and stuff, but this thing literally just went into about 20 pieces, which embedded themselves all around the workshop. I was wearing a teacher apron. I mean, I'm looking back on it now, that's quite a cool look actually, but I'd wear this like janitor's apron every day, because I was in a workshop. I had to wear a suit underneath it. I might start wearing it down there, actually, bring it back. But I was looking down at it. I was like, cool, what's that? There's a bit of birch ply there. And what's that on it? Oh, it's got some red stuff on it. It's literally gone straight into my chest. Not a deep cut. I mean, I'm making a lot of it. Yeah. It was a tiny, tiny little cut, but there's a lot of blood coming out of it. I was like, oh my God, I pulled it out and had a look, and it was fine. But like, I was finding little bits of birch ply for probably a week or so after.
Really?
I was in there on my own, I have to add. It wasn't in front of a class of kids, but the next day I see this boy who wanted to make the birch ply bowl, and I was like, no, we can't do it. I'll show you why. And I had this apron with like a blood stain on it and a hole on it. It's like, we got to come up with a different idea for this bowl. But I love wood turning. I'm not particularly good at it. We've got a lathe down in the other workshop, and I turn every now and again. Yeah. What I really like about it is how quickly you can make something really, really beautiful. And we actually get a lot of our stuff turned by an old retired chap who has been a classically trained wood turner, right? Did some cabinet making, I think, as well, but he's a really, really good and fantastic wood carver as well. He is, I don't know how old he is, but he's long retired. Every time I ring him up, I'm like, oh, Colin, I need to bring out retirement again. But I keep saying to him, can you teach me or at least one of the apprentices and kind of go along, because there'll be a point where he won't be able to work anymore, or he won't want to work anymore. He still enjoys it, you know. We give him fun stuff to do mostly as well, but he still enjoys it. But what I say this to everybody, I probably sound like a broken record, but what I'm worried about is when people like Colin retire, like your chap who's retirement age, you know, who have they passed that skill down to? And we can't just learn it by reading a book or watching a YouTube video. That's those sort of skills, those traditional skills like turning, you need to have someone there to tell you how to do it, because it's not the sort of thing, initially anyway, you work out on your own. You've got to be shown, and then you can go and play with it on your own. Yeah, definitely. But when they all retire, there's going to be this huge skills gap, right? Scary, how do we get over it? What do we do? No one, they just don't want to do it anymore. You better get in there on Fridays.
Well, yeah, he's often said he's happy to teach me, but I don't get the time.
Yeah, it's the time.
Yeah.
And if you're not using it as well, it's like what I found with turning is you use it or lose it. Yeah. You know, I was making loads of little fun bits, and when I was doing the restorers, I was often making up little handles and stuff like that. But it wasn't like I was turning spindles out day in, day out. No. Which is what he used to do. You get a staircase, he'd turn all the spindles. Yeah. And we don't really, in fact, thinking about it, I'm not sure. I was going to say, I can't remember the last time that we turned spindles for a staircase that we made, but I don't think we've ever turned spindles in-house for a staircase. And actually, I'm thinking about it, I think I've only ever made 2 staircases with round spindles in them now. I think all of ours have been like square profile, rectangular, glass, or like steel rod. I don't think I can remember 2 traditional staircases that we made with round spindles. I think we got Colin to turn them up, actually.
I think the last one we brought the spindles in.
Did you?
Yeah, because...
So easy, isn't it? Yeah. I think we probably would have done that. I'd imagine it was some kind of fancy design that someone wanted very specifically, but otherwise, we'd just buy them from like stair parts or someone like that, you know. And they do a good job, and it looks good, and it's cheap, and it's with you like 2 days later or something.
Yeah, I mean, we don't find we do many staircases, because you've got all these companies now that you can just order it online, can't you? Yeah. And you just cannot compete with that. No. The prices are impossible.
They're really good for, you know, if you just want to bang a straight flight in, or a little kite winder, or a quarter space landing. So anything with any kind of complication.
Yes.
That's what we find. The only stairs we make are either like have a really unique design to them, or different use materials, or like we're saying about some kind of design detail, or metal balustrade, or whatever it is. Yeah. We'll do those sort of stairs. I don't remember, apart from that one ages ago, we haven't done a traditional flight of stairs for donkey's years, because you go online and get it for probably quarter of the price. Yeah. And it's delivered, a couple of weeks' time. Yeah. As long as you've got your measurements right.
I mean, at one point we were actually debating on offering a service where we will go out and measure up and then give you the details so you can order it yourself.
It's not that's
quite a cool small idea, isn't it?
Yeah. Because for people that don't know, how much goes into a proper stair survey is wild. It's super dangerous, and that's why they've got a big disclaimer on the website. Yeah. I know exactly who you mean. Everyone will know who you mean. I'm not going to say it, but they make you tick a huge disclaimer. Yeah. That basically, if it turns up and doesn't fit, as long as it's the right size for what you've told me it is, you can't get your money back. No. And quite rightly so, because if you've just measured it with a tape measure and you've got it wrong, it's your fault.
It's not their fault, is it?
Exactly. Yeah. I've heard loads and loads of stories about where people have measured it, ordered the stairs completely wrong. And then they've had to order it again. Yeah. I know someone ordered 3 sets of stairs, the same thing, because all 3 times, twice measured it wrong, 3rd time got it right. But it's a hard thing to do a stair survey, especially if it's a stair with, if you're going into a well and you've got to have some turns in there, that's a really difficult thing to do. I mean, thank God for lasers and stuff now, because imagine trying to do that with a plumb line back in the day. Like, it's wild, because you never quite know. Yeah.
You just lose the money in the job just measuring it.
We sort of allow a day for 2 people or at least an afternoon per flight of stairs. Yeah. 2 of us will go and spend half a day doing for a single stair with complications or whatever, because there's so much you've got to measure. Excuse me. It's it's not just like you rise and you go in.
No.
It's all your walls. If you've got any turns, it's the angles.
How good the walls are.
Exactly that. If you can get a fixing in, if you can't get a fixing in, the joists, if they're straight, if the floor's flat, if the other floor's flat, you know, we've actually, one of the first stairs that I did, we went to go and fit it, measured it all up. It's all good. The one measurement that I didn't take was the level, how level the joist was of the apron where it was fitting.
Right.
Because I just assumed stupidly. Anyway, go to fit the staircase. Left-hand side, perfect. Stair butts up, perfect. Right-hand side, 20 mil up. I was like, what the fuck? Like, how is this even possible? Measuring the stairs, because I thought, well, we've done something wrong here.
You always think it's you, don't you?
You always put a level on every single tread, lasered it all up, absolutely perfect. I was like, what is going on then? Put the level on the landing. It was like, it was running out by 40 or 50 mil in a metre. But what do you do? You know, because you fit this beautiful staircase and the carpet's already up. And I remember saying to the customer, like, well, I mean, if you'd have built the stair to fit the landing, it would be a non-compliant stair because you can't have, you can't have a riser that's like 20 mil lower on one side than the other. But then what do you do? So we were in these different conversations. He was like, oh, it's your fault, you know, whatever. I was like, well, look, there's a reason why it's made like this. Yeah, I should have checked that and we should have talked about it before. I'm really sorry for that. Yeah. But either way, if
you've still got to get over it.
You still got to get over it, but you can't get over it by tilting the stair. The only way to do it is by sort of building your landing up so it's flat. So then we ended up packing out the landing and trying to level it. Oh my God, what a palaver that was. But it made me think, like, always go with two people because two eyes are better than one. Two pairs of eyes, two eyes are better than one, but two pairs of eyes are better than one. And just dedicate enough time. I've got a list now. Check that, just to remind you.
That's a good idea.
Because otherwise we get there and go, oh yeah, we got all those, and then drive home and think, oh bollocks, I didn't measure how high the skirting was or something like that, you know. And that little detail, you probably have to go out there or try and guess
the amount of times.
Because it's not something you initially think, but if you're making a stair where the string is meeting into the skirting, you need it the same height. It's not something you want to go out with a jigsaw on site, you know. So
the amount of times we've been out to site and you think, I've thoroughly measured everything, and you get back, open it, right, missed that one measurement. How did I miss that one measurement? So we go out, two of us now, which again is not good for business because it means we're shutting the workshop. But I always find that as soon as you get to site, someone starts talking, and I am always the one that ends up talking, and then Dean will start measuring, and then once the conversation's over, he's got his head around it, and then we. But otherwise, whenever we try and go out on our own, you just end up in a bad headspace because you've just been talking too much and not concentrating on what you're meant to be doing.
Yeah, and it's especially for stairs, it's quite, well, big stuff as well. Like if you're measuring a big kitchen, it's really hard because you have someone holding the other end of the tape, but also it sounds really stupid, but you've got to have someone holding the tape the right way.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been out with architects who, you know, really should know better, really, that's part of their job. But I look at how they're holding the tape. I'm like, oh, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Have you stretched it or have you pushed it? What side of the line are you on and how are you measuring that? And I'm like, man, I can't. I know it's only the difference of a mil or two, but I can't work like that.
It's still a difference.
Yeah. It's that difference of a mil or two could mean that it fits or doesn't fit, you know? And these same architects will be very particular about how it looks, but like, I guess it's the training, isn't it? They not necessarily understand about the movement of the tape and whether it's a push or whatever. I
suppose if it's never caught you out before, you don't think to look for it, do you?
I mean, we'll do the classic, we'll measure from the
100 mil.
From the 100 mil, always. And I was caught out once helping out. Someone else was holding the other end, and because instinctively, like me and whoever we're with, we'll always measure from that, and then we'll just take the 100 mil off.
Yeah.
And I did this, took the 100 mil off, and then I got back to the workshop and was like, that seems a little bit small. What we've drawn there seems a bit small compared to their drawing us. And we're kind of looking at it and it's like 97 mil too big or 97 mil too small. And I realised actually,
100 mil trick.
Yeah, I've trusted someone, but then I haven't communicated very clearly that that's how we normally do it. Because like you're saying about working with Dean, I'll go out there with you know, Rich, my foreman or Bino, and we'll just instinctively know to do it because that's how we do it. But anyone else probably won't get that. So it's good when you work with someone that you know you almost telepathically working together?
I think it makes life easier, doesn't it? Definitely. And it definitely helps to produce a much better product. Definitely.
What's your favourite part about running the joinery?
Favourite part?
Because let's be honest, it's not a job you do to get rich.
No. Most definitely not.
But so there's got to be a part of it, or all of it that you love, but there's got to be some.
I can talk about a particular job that I really enjoyed because I got to design. I like the design element. I think that comes because of I studied design before, so I really do like. Although if you ask Dean, he sees me complain about it, but I do actually enjoy working out what someone wants, if that makes any sense. I enjoy, because you don't get a brief. You know, when I was studying graphic design, you get given a brief, but quite often we don't get a brief. It's just, I want a wardrobe that looks a bit like this or whatever. I like the designing part of it. And if it's solid wood, I enjoy that part of it where we actually get to experiment a little bit and play. So yeah, it's a hard question, that is. Process-wise, it sounds crazy, but one of the most enjoyable things is preparing up the timber. I just really like I say simple. It's not simple preparing up timber, is it? Like, you've got to know what you're doing. You can't just turn up and do it. You've got to know how the material is going to move, how the machine works. And you can go from one planer to another and it doesn't quite work the same, does it? I just like that.
I do as well, actually. I remember one job in particular, it was we making this kind of wavy cladding in oak, and we started off with like 200 by 63 oak section, hundreds of meters of it. And I was planing that up, but when you get in the zone as well, either if you're I did it all on my own over a weekend, but if you're on your own, you get into a zone, you're like passing it over the plane, over the thicknesser, massive moulding on the spindle. It was huge, this curve that put through it. It was like 4 passes to get it bob on. And but when you start stacking it up, like on the dollies and stuff, when you see it sort of that, it's in telly. When I used to do the restorers and I'd be working on a really slow thing, they do a shot called Passage of Time, right. And they'd film me, picking up a cup of tea and putting it down, and then they'd film different clips of how far down that tea had gone, so they could, Passage of Time was me sort of sipping the tea and putting it down, and then they flick back round and I've finished it or whatever, finished the process. But I don't think there's anything better or more satisfying than when you are machining up timber, especially for a big run or something, and you've got your dolly and it's stacking up like 2, 5, 6, 10, 20, 50, 100 lengths of timber, all look exactly the same, and then you put the dolly down at one end of the spindle and you got another one at the other end, and you see that pile go down and then that pile go up. Oh my God, that is literally the best for me, because you can see it's tangible, you can see it, you can feel it, you're doing it, and you're like, this is going really well. I'm going to be done in like half an hour, and then I'll be on to the next bit, and it's just
it's all organised, it's all methodical.
There's nothing better for me than that, and those are the moments that I'm sad that I'm missing out on now, because I'm in the office a lot more. But every now and again, I'm like, come on, let's get down there and machine. I do like to see
a big stack of components that are all been machined and they're all ready to go together, and you know that you've got to that point now. It's almost a change, isn't it? You've gone from machining to now it's hitting the bench. It's a big bit, and you're just looking at lots of lovely prepared up timber, all the components ready to go to become something.
Yeah, it's quite special, isn't it? It's like the first stages of its life, of whatever it's going to become.
I do think that when you're doing it all day, every day, it's quite easy to forget that. It's quite easy to get sort of bogged down in what you've got to do rather than enjoying the process. Which is a bit sad. But
but you can still, for us, we're lucky, no two jobs are the same. We're never doing the same thing. And I think what we really like and what we really appreciate, everyone who works with me really appreciates, is that every job's different, and every job we can look back on and go, oh yeah, that was bloody hard work, but look at it. it's great. And that'd be the same for you, you know.
Yeah.
Every single job you do, even if it's like you're making loads of windows, every window you fit, you'll be like, yeah, I made that. That's great, you know. Even if you're up against it and you're making nothing but windows, I think you'd still be proud of every window that you fitted.
Yeah, I mean, I think another thing we really enjoy is most windows we make, it's a listed building, so we're making to match the existing.
Yeah.
Which I guess doesn't sound that exciting, but it is.
Yeah, because you've got to shoot it in, and
we've got to get it to go back to look how it was originally, and that we really enjoy that. It's not.
There was a time where Historic England or whoever it was would make you use, you know, as much of the door or the window as possible. So sometimes you'd be making a whole new window, but you'd have to use one bit of glazing by. The one bit of glazing by that wasn't rotten, but you'd have to sort of splice it in there or whatever. Or you're making a door, or you're repairing a door, you're using like 6 inches of a rail of it or something, and then building out all round, all new, and making it look like it was old. But they've kind of gone the other way now. In fact, I've been seeing a lot of videos online of people doing resin repairs on windows on like listed buildings, and I think, like, has the world gone mad? In what way is pumping a load of resin into a sill or a rail or stile or frame and sanding it off and painting it? In what world is that better than splicing a bit of timber in? How is that historically accurate? How's that heritage restoration? It's like, but how's that even allowed? But that's the preferred way of doing it now.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, does it?
No. But you see loads of videos of people doing it. I'm like, oh my God, is that? I'm not throwing shade on people that do it, but how is it?
It's hard not to when you work with what we do, isn't it?
Especially knowing how like conservation joinery should be done. It should be done with the same timber. It should be done similar as possible grain and species, and cutting it in and splicing the joint properly. Like, how is pumping it full of plastic? I know you can put wood grain on it and paint it, but it's not the same.
Again, it's still
because the timber's going to rot around it.
Yep,
no doubt. So
it's
you'll end
not
up
going to
with
expand
this,
and contract. It's not going to move.
You'll end up with this like plastic that looks perfect still, and all the timber around it just rotten and needs doing again. Eventually, it'll be like Trigger's broom, won't it? The whole thing will just be made of red resin and painted over. But yeah, it's strange, isn't it? How things like that kind of just come about.
Yeah, and how it's accepted, and then you see other things that don't get accepted. I won't go too far into it, but certain jobs that we think there's no way we're not going to get that job. It's definitely going to go ahead, and they can't get planning. And you think, like you say, you look at things like that and think, how is that allowed? But that's not. It just doesn't make any sense. But, I mean, don't knock it. We've definitely done a lot of lovely jobs through conservation, and had the opportunity to work in some lovely properties because of it. Yeah, it's amazing.
So I think that's a really nice part of joinery, and I think that's something that is, you know, trades are changing because of AI, modernisation. That, you know, there will be a time where a lot of jobs won't exist anymore because it's all done by AI and computers and stuff. But so long as there are old buildings, there's always going to be a need for conservation joiners and conservation joinery. But, and here's the but, we are responsible for making sure that there are joiners that are capable of doing the conservation joinery, whether that's you or whether that's the next generation of apprentices and kids or whatever. You know, I feel that responsibility. I feel the weight of that quite a lot.
But again, I mean, you know more than I will, but it's quite hard to have an apprentice, isn't it? I mean, for a small joinery shop like us, because there's only two of us, just the thought of taking someone on, I mean, if we lose a job, which has happened, and we think, you know, next week we're all ready for a big job, and then something happens and we've got nothing to do, and we're not starting the next job for a week or two after, it does matter, but it doesn't matter because we haven't got wages to pay. It's just us two. So, and that's how, when we started, it was, we're 50-50 and it's on us. And if we get really big, we'll take people on. But if we just keep with the mindset that it's just us two and we're responsible, it's not too scary.
But there's a lot to be said for that. what I will say is that if you get a good apprentice, they're worth their weight in gold.
Yeah.
And you can train them and you can mould them. And if you get the right one, absolute asset to the business, who'll probably be with you for years.
Yeah.
If you get the wrong one, absolute waste of time, resources, money, training, whatever, nightmare. But if you get the right one, they're good as gold. What I'm thinking though is that probably I went through phases of like, it's vulgar to talk about money, but I think where you are at, where it's just you two, low overhead, you're not paying any wages, you'll hit a ceiling with it, but essentially that's the most profitable you're going to be. If you grow, you'll have to grow very big to be at the same sort of level of profitability, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I found I was making way more money than it was when it was just me on my own, or me and my brother-in-law Bino, who still works for me now, making loads more then, because we didn't have to worry about pain and the droughts and everything else. And it was only when we get to like a certain size of a lot more people when it was like, oh, actually, we've got a bit more coming in. But actually, where you're at, it's hard in many ways because I had to work fucking hard. Yeah. Long hours, weekends, give up everything else for a long time.
Massively multitasking.
Yeah. And you're doing everything.
Yeah.
But in a way, it was kind of manageable. But at the same time, that, if you look at percentage of what I was actually able to take home from compared to what I was invoicing for, fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great. And then the more people that came on, the less it went. And then all of a sudden you kind of hit this like Goldilocks band where you're like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, cool. This is all right.
Yeah.
But it's those
in the middle.
Yeah. And that's why loads of people stay just on their own or just as a partnership.
Yeah.
Because actually you can make really good living out of it.
I love the flexibility.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I'm sitting here now on a Friday because I don't have to ask anyone. And to me, that is worth all the work. It's worth everything. I hate to say it's not about the money because we all need money, but it's about the flexibility for me.
It's a lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah. I like turning up at the workshop, opening the doors, putting the kettle on, not answering to anyone. Obviously, you're answering to all your customers and your clients and whatnot, but you know what I mean? Like day to day, it's down to us how we work. And if one of us isn't feeling great, go home. And it just has to work that way. Not has to work that way, but what I mean when I say not very well, like, recently Dean had COVID and he was really unwell and I was just said, just go home.
How do you, that's why I've never had a partner. Number one, I'm a massive control freak. I have to be in charge of everything.
Yeah.
But number two, I would, if I had a partner who took a couple of days sick, I'd find that I'd be then thinking, well, do you get paid for them days or do you not get paid for them? What's going on there? It's a tricky one because then I'd think, am I going to be an arsehole for saying you shouldn't get paid for them days? Or what? That'd be hard for me.
We've never done that. We are 50-50. And at the very beginning, it was obviously there's going to be downtime for each of us. There's going to be hard times. How do we navigate this? If we agree to be 50-50 from the start and always work that way and always try and pull our weight in our areas, and that's how it's always been.
That's really good.
And I've had time off, effectively.
What? Time off?
Time off, yeah. I've just had 3 weeks off.
Oh, nice.
School holidays, looking after my boy in the mornings, and then working in the evenings. And Dean will be quite flexible. He'll go in we'll swap. It just works. We both know what we need to do, and it happens.
Sounds perfect,
It sounds perfect, and I'm making it sound perfect, but it's not that perfect.
Well, it's better than the alternatives,
Yes, yeah.
You could be working somewhere where you probably don't enjoy all the work. You're getting told what to do, all that sort of stuff. You could be not enjoying it, but actually, it sounds like you love it. It sounds like the difficult parts you're getting over them. You're getting it done. We both have the same mindset that it needs to get done, so let's just get it done. And it has to be done the best that we can do. And
fortunately, we're both very anal. It has to be how we want it. And I think that is why we work, because we're on the same hymn sheet with regards to that.
Fantastic.
But I mean, most creative people are that way, aren't they?
Well, some and some. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you'd like to think so. I've certainly seen stuff come out of other places that you think, oh my God, you let it out of your workshop looking like that. But I keep those thoughts to myself.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy that will turn up and go, oh, that's terrible. Why have you got them to do that? I've kind of just like, keep it in there and think, oh, okay. And there are certainly people that the MO is just get it out quick, cheap, done. They're the ones that, the joineries that I know that are like that are the ones that are closed in the last 12 to 18 months or whatever. So I think there's a lot to be said for caring about the work that you do.
We had an architect, I won't say names, but an architect contacted us a while ago, and we didn't get the job, but it wasn't his fault. We were involved very late in the day. Another joinery shop had already priced it and they won it, which was fine. But the architect did ring up a few months later and said, for whatever reason, we weren't happy with the work and your price was near enough the same. And he said, I've now looked at your work and I've been lucky enough to see it. He's like, I want to work with you on the next one. And then I thanked him. I was like, I'm so happy that you've made this phone call. Because you don't hear that very often, do you? In this world, you don't hear I don't know, you just don't get people ringing you up saying, we've seen your work and it's really good and we want to work with you. And I really, really feel grateful for that. Yeah.
But you wouldn't get that if you were just shonking stuff out, meeting deadlines.
No, I don't want to say it too much, but that was because another joinery shop didn't send out the quality that they expected, which really makes me feel like we're doing the right thing by always saying what goes out the door is more important.
Well, you know what they say, the cream rises to the top.
I'll take it.
No, it's good, man. Good for you. Now, I ask everyone that comes on the podcast the same question. Yeah. What advice were you given when you were younger, or maybe wish that you were given? Or if you could give a piece of advice to like 18-year-old Russ or anyone similar sort of age thinking that they want to start out in joinery or woodworking or cabinetry, whatever, what piece of advice would you give?
That's a hard one.
To put you on the spot.
Yeah. Could have asked me this yesterday.
Oh, no. In advance. Yeah, but then you would have...
overthought it. Yeah. Bit of advice. Joinery. I would say, if you can, try to start with working from start to finish on jobs. Appreciate every aspect of it, especially the finish. Every bit is equally as important, but I do feel... I've not worked in a lot of joinery shops, but it was always the finish that I feel gets missed to a degree. Because a lot of the time it's being sent somewhere else to be painted. It's like you said earlier on, it's being passed on, so the ownership isn't there. Whereas I think that is having, if you are involved in the finish, you will do each part to the best of your ability, which creates an overall masterpiece, hopefully.
Lovely. Well, that's
I think
a lovely way to end it, I think. Yeah.
Thank you.
That was really nice. Russ, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for the invite.
It's been really good. Really good. And I'm going to come over and have a look at your setup, I think, and see all this wonderful joinery coming out of your shop.
Come over, please. But it's not even as big as this.
Oh, really? Yeah, well, you're making good stuff then in a small space, so well done.
It is small. We've worked outside many a time. It's fun, isn't it? It's all a challenge. I've always thought it doesn't matter how big the joinery shop is, it always needs to be bigger. Doesn't matter how much space you've got, you always need more.
Exactly. I 100% agree. When we took over the workshop where we're at now, I remember going in thinking we're never... But then that was the same in the workshop before. The first big unit that we rented, I remember going in there and going, oh my God, there's so much space. We had a forklift and I could do donuts in the middle of the rough. I was like, yeah, this is great. We're never going to fill this. 6 months later, I was looking for a bigger workshop.
Really?
Because we were like, put a few machines in it, bit of storage, and we stacked it out. And then the same with the unit down there. Now, you came in it earlier, but it's like It's packed.
Yeah, to be fair, it is.
It's packed down there, and that's like, I don't know.
It's big.
I don't know how many thousands of square feet it is, but it is cut maybe 3 or 4,000 square foot, rammed, absolutely rammed. So now we've got another one, and then we you know, every one we take on, and we fill it through a couple of machines or spray booth or whatever, and then we think, we need another one. One day, if everything goes well, I'll buy some land and I'll build a massive workshop with everything in it. And then when it's done, I guarantee that'll be too small as well.
Yeah, it's the dream, isn't it?
That is the dream. Yeah, that is the lottery win. I wonder if you know that Amaze charity where you can win a house somewhere. Yeah. Imagine if they did workshops. That'd be like, pretty niche, but pretty cool, wouldn't it?
You could just knock the house down.
You could do. Maybe there's a business there. Be something like Amaze, but for workshops. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Anyway,
fully set up workshop, ready to go.
Oh, that'd be expensive though. Be bloody expensive though. Could you imagine? God, yeah. I think about the amount of holidays we could have gone on as a family when I look around at all the machines that we got. Never mind. Anyway, on that note, thanks ever so much for coming in.
Thank you for the invite.
Best of luck for the future. Catch up with you soon.
Awesome. Thank you.